want to elaborate more on the migration from SMS OTP to more secure forms of authentications because there is a concern as well if you look at it, because I think CIMB and Maybank, they've announced that they're going to migrate fully by the middle of next year, by end of June 2023. And there are some concerns as well, especially what about folks who doesn't have a smartphone? They don't have an app. Yeah, what happened to them? Because they still rely on SMS. And in fact, there's one comment which we saw saying that, the best way to secure your account is to have a dummy phone, like a feature phone.
Like a burner phone.
Just to receive SMS, because you can't install any apps on it.
So that means you can't click through and stuff like that.
Yes, you can't click through anything. That's, of course, it's hassle, but but think about it. Think about the other generations who don't have a smartphone. They only use a feature phone, and they might only use their online banking on the desktop. So they use the SMS to authenticate.
Well, okay. So if you're running a feature phone to just receive SMSs, right, the likelihood of you banking online is almost, I am certain, zero.
Well, there are people who do online banking on their desktop. They don't use a smartphone. And because I do know that some people are scared of using their phones because they have the impression that smartphones are not secure. And that's why people use desktop web browser. And here's another thing. There are other alternatives to this authentication. Some saying that, some banks should just offer the hard...
The token thing?
Token thing, yeah. I think HSBC is one of the first to give it like this thing you touch.
Yeah, it's like a small generator. LED calculator, like a calculator.
Yep.
But it just randomly generates numbers
based on time,
and it's on your body. So it's with you all the time.
Correct.
But you risk losing that. So you can live in the Stone Age and get a burner phone and don't have all the smart features of a phone and don't have to click through a link or whatever from an SMS. You can do that. The problem with that is it does not open up. It doesn't open up possibilities for any enhanced functions and services that you can enjoy in today's life, right? So if you want to enhance your, if you want access to enhanced services and capabilities, like for example, a Touch and Go app, right? I'm starting to use the Go Plus account, right? Put in some money there, whatever extra money I get, put it there for like my tabung, right? You can't do that on a desktop.
Hey, I think some of the online banking, the tabung feature is also accessible.
I know,
desktop,
but I mean the convenience and stuff like that. So that's where I'm coming from. Okay, my point is that suggestion from the comment, I'm not sure if that works or not. I mean, if it does for you, okay, great. But the bottom line is the world will move on, and the world will become more modern and more advanced in whatever it is, and it's a arms race, right? Banks will try to be more secure, but scammers will try to be more smart in a way, right? So the best way for you to prevent all this but still enjoy the benefits of modern living is just to be careful. Seriously.
Yeah, because I'm just thinking for the obscure individuals out there, because there are people who don't trust online banking on a smartphone. There are people like that I know who don't use their apps on a smartphone because they feel like it's not stable. Like, what if I transfer halfway and data not stable and the transfer didn't go through, whatever. There are people who are really afraid of that. And remember the early versions of the apps, even like the May app, right? Initially, when you do online transfer, right, you can't print receipt, which is fixed right now, by the way. But this kind of issues, like you want to have the full experience, you need to go to online banking. So because of these frustrations in the early on stage, people just gave out an app. You know what? To be very assured that this transaction go through, I can print a receipt, I do it on an online banking website.
While people feel that using a desktop and not a smartphone is more secure, the reality of it is a computer is much more risky than a phone, if you ask me.
For me, it doesn't,
because you don't know who's snooping. You don't know, and it's easier for you to click through like a. You don't need an SMS to click through a bad link. You know, you can just go to a website and or you can just go to Facebook and there's a weird ad. You click through. It's not targeted in a way that an online scam via a phone. If somebody wants to take your money from a bank, right? The bank, that person has to spoof a website, has to spoof a URL, blah 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 blah. This one is just a couple of clicks and the thing will be installed on your browser and you're screwed.
But what about those people who are resistant to change? Like for example, the older folks who feel like, I'm comfortable with using desktop web all the time, and then I like the old design. It works. Everything is just available. I know where everything are. And then suddenly there's a change. I can tell from these people, right? They'll immediately go back to the old version because they're so comfortable with it. Same goes with the 3G shutdown. There are people who don't want to change the smartphone. They say, I don't need 4G, I don't need a smartphone.
Yep.
But they need to migrate or else they can't use 3G, right?
Yep.
But there are 4G feature phone options out there. So they can still continue to do things like the way they used to be. Similar to online banking as well. And online banking is something that's crucial to them because that's their financial, payment system. So the thing is, the biggest concern right now is how do we migrate them over to secure platform if we're not using SMS. And that's the reason why I think Maybank and CIMB are giving them more time because they set a deadline of 30th June by middle of next year to migrate these folks over. So I think that's the biggest that's a challenge for them to migrate these older folks.
I think back to this thing, the show is saying that, okay, we need, thank you Bank Negara for putting out these guidelines, but at the end of the day, these are just guidelines. Thank you Maybank for saying that they're going to move away from OTP, and CIMB also. But CIMB, please improve your apps continuously. I think you need a lot of work. But at the end of the day, I think whatever you guys are doing is still too slow.
Yeah, and there was a sad part about this. Regardless of whether SMS or secure tag or whatever security methods, right? This will still not address phishing scams because phishing scams they always prey on fear, right? So when they try to trick you and ask you
Fear
to go to a
and
website, when they trick you to a website or a fake app, right? Which whether it's SMS or OTP, if you're tricked, you're gonna get that secure tag and put in the same page anyway. So you're gonna get fooled. So we still need more education from all parties about these phishing scams.